My name is Mellonee. On March 3rd of this year, I was supposed to go visit my Aunt Irene. She is my mom's sister, also my godmother. She'd been declining in health for a little while, so I really wanted to go see her, but as we know, the tornado hit that day, and that was actually the town that I live in, so I felt like I just needed to cancel it. And as time went on, of course, COVID got worse, and I really didn't think I was ever going to make a trip out to see her, which was actually in Seattle. She continued to decline, and I had some family members that said, Mellonee, you really need to pray about whether you're going to go out and see her or not. They had told me that she was fearful of dying, and which broke my heart. Her and I always had a very special relationship. And so I prayed about it and made the trip to Seattle. When I finally got to see her, she was not looking very good, and she was very out of it. She was happy to see me, but she fell asleep for a couple of hours, and my family was with me. They had brought me, and the children were getting restless. So she had been sleeping a couple of hours, and we went to wake her up so that we could say goodbye or at least do communion. I asked her if she'd like to have communion, and she said yes. I had brought communion cups for whoever wanted to have communion together, and we did that. Well, immediately after communion, she clicked out of the fog that she was in and was completely lucid. It was miraculous. And so I went over there and I began to talk to her, and I said, I understand that you're fearful of dying. And this is a woman who was 96 years old and had walked with the Lord her whole life. And she had told me yes. And I reminded her of the promises that God had given her and her family, and how her mom, my mom, which was her sister, would be waiting for her, and her family, and just the fact that she would get to be with Jesus. And she immediately became very peaceful, and that made me feel really good. Because God had brought me there for that reason, I really felt. And she took her son's hands and she told them that she was going to be going home to be with the Lord soon. And they, looked at me and were like, yep. So she was really ready at that point. And I went to say goodbye to her, and she started prophesying over the children. And she started praying over them, and it was like an Old Testament moment. And she started, saying the wonderful things that she felt like they were going to be doing one day for the Lord. And I went to say goodbye to her, and which was one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And I just was reminded at that moment that God had brought me there to bring peace to her, to remind her of His promises, because all these years He had been her God. And the more I thought about it, I was so thankful that I got to be used in that situation, because He is my God.